Welcome back. Namibia's participation at the second World Summit on Social Development in Doha, Qatar, marks an important moment in reaffirming the nation's commitment to building an inclusive and equitable society. Leading the Namibian delegation alongside the Prime Minister is the Minister of Justice and Labour Relations, Fillemon Immanuel. The summit brings together global leaders to assess the progress that has been made since the landmark 1995 Copenhagen Declaration on Social Development, focusing on poverty eradication, full employment and social integration. Today we speak to the Minister about Namibia's priorities at the summit and how justice and labour policies align with the country's broader social development agenda. Minister Immanuel, thank you so much for joining us here on the Daily Roundup. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening and thank you for having me.
Well, to start with, talk to us about the overall significance of Namibia's participation, at the Second World Summit on Social Development.
Thank you so much. I think, like you have rightfully indicated, that Doha, or the city of Doha, the whole of this week was a center of gravity for international presence. You know, following the second World Summit on Social Development that has just ended this evening. Now, that particular event or its participations was open to all UN member states, all 193 of them, as well as all UN associated entities, as well as intergovernmental organizations, as well as accredited non-state actors. They came together simply to reflect on the extent of their effort, as well as to assess the progress that has been made, as well as the challenge that have been encountered along the journey following the Copenhagen Declaration that was adopted in 1995. And it has been, a subject of implementation for the past 30 years. So the country came together to assess, to learn to one another and share their experience in the implementation of that. Now, the importance and the significance of Namibia's participation in the summit concerned, it's nothing else than the country reaffirming, its commitment to a fairer, and inclusive global village.
Looking at the progress that has been made since the declaration 30 years ago, Minister Immanuel, just how far has Namibia come in advancing the goals of social justice, employment creation and poverty eradication?
I think what is important is that the Copenhagen Declaration, calls among others, in member states to ensure universal and equitable access to quality education and health. So it calls on member states to strengthen families and community cohesions. It also calls on the promotions of equal pays, within their labor market. So it calls on support for full as well as productive employment, as well as the total eradications of poverty. Now, of course, as Namibia as a country, we have made some inroad in respect of that. You would agree with me that we have implemented the universal free primary education in the country. We are now in the process of implementing a free tertiary education, or a fully subsidized tertiary education for all those that will be studying at tertiary institution come 2026. We have put in place policies and legislations that are seeking to guarantee, the decent work for the Namibian workers, protecting the dignities of all workers, ensuring that they earn decent salaries or decent wage, as well as legislations that are affording safer work environment, across all 14 regions in the country. So just to mention but a few among some of those interventions that the government has embarked upon, but it's suffice to say that the government has attempted to come up with numerous policies that are developed and promulgated within the framework of Article 95 of the Namibian Constitution.
The link between decent work and social stability is often emphasized, in global forums such as this, Minister Immanuel. So what specific measures or reforms is Namibia, implementing to promote fair labor practices and full employment opportunities?
Well, I think when we are speaking about fair labor practices in any jurisdiction, the very first things that we need to start with is the legal framework that that particular country has in place. Now, as Namibia, we pride ourselves for having a sound and robust labor legislation in the country. Of course, it's not one that is 100%. There are still some areas of improvement, but we stand convinced that we are on a good path toward the attainment of a sound labor relations in our country. For we guarantees freedom of association. Our workers in Namibia are allowed to belong to unions, so guaranteeing the workers' rights. They are allowed to, or we have interventions or mechanism in place that seek to settle dispute between workers and employees. We encourage tripartite arrangement where both the government as well as the trade unions and the employers federations do come together to have conversation around the policies and possible strategies that need to be put in place in order to guarantee the lasting stability, labor or industrial stability in the country. Our legislations and our policy advocacy focuses on ensuring that so we do not only create employment, but we create employment that is able to afford decent work, job security, decent remuneration, as well as the safer work environment for our workers. So for we believe those are the dimensions that need to be in place in order for a country to enjoy a harmonious industrial relations.
Thank you. And were there any bilateral or multilateral partnerships that Namibia was exploring or strengthening during the summit?
Well, I think insofar that is concerned, it's important to indicate that on the margin of the summit, of course, there have been interactions with different players as well as with a representative of different states. And through that, we are merely trying to situate Namibia within the diplomatic space and exploring, some opportunities that lies within those diplomatic parameters. Specifically, I think we have engaged, the Qatar Minister of State Energy. The Prime Minister has engaged him. He also paid a courtesy to the Prime Minister of Qatar. And we have also participated in the Global Coalition for Social Justice, an event that took place on the margins of the summit, and it's primarily organized through the labor organization. And we have done all that primarily to position Namibia within the global space, and for us to demonstrate and showcase the evidence of what we are doing as a country insofar as the promotion of social justice and social development is concerned. And we believe, we have no reason to doubt that through those engagement, we will be able to take them further in order to reap fruit for that that they can offer from the bilateral perspective.
Well, Minister Immanuel, thank you so much for your time this evening. That's all the time we have. We do appreciate you joining us tonight. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And I thank you once again for having had me.
Well, that was the Minister of Justice and Labour Relations speaking to us there via Zoom, Mr. Fillemon Immanuel. We were talking about the Second World Summit on Social Development in Doha, Qatar, that just ended today, that himself and a delegation have been attending to. We'll be right back